hear that. Those are the normal monkeys you hear, but that wind is abnormal. It's super hard offshore. In end of July, August, it's supposed to be raining. It's not supposed to be summertime. Anyways, welcome to Bedtime Stories by Deluxsauce. I hope y'all are snuggled in. I am cozying up a uncomfortable chair to sit here and talk to you over there. Some of you might be wondering, who is this guy? And I just got done talking to my girlfriend saying the same thing. I don't know who I am, so who is talking right now? And I'd rather talk, have my own thoughts, than load them into something like a computer and say, hey, computer, can you answer this question for me? Because I can't answer it myself. I like to remain a self-sustaining, self-thinking, self-processing human being. What brings up that topic? I don't know. It's Thursday morning. Lovely. Chainsaw in the background. I thought I was just going to sit out here and talk with the monkeys, the birds. Then the wind showed up, and now a chainsaw. Life is interesting, is it not? You stumbled upon this video of a guy talking into a microphone outside in the jungle. How in the heck did this man get out in the jungle? I ask myself that question all the time. I have no idea how I got here. I mean, I made some decisions that got me here, but never in my wildest dreams did I think those decisions would even become questions. Does that make sense? Just a little back history about who Deluxsauce is. He was a little boy, grew up thinking he was abducted by aliens because something happened to him. He went on to be the best hockey goalie that there ever was. And then he was kind of little, small, and frail, so he became a diver, like a high diver, jumping off the big high boards in the water. There, he became super conscious and aware that he, whoever he is surrounded by a body, and he can move that body through time and space while it's dropping with gravity, or call it what you want. And from there, he said, I got a broken heart. I'm going to go into the military. And because he was a diver, and they always made him swim, and he was good at it, even though he didn't like it, he went on to try to become a Navy SEAL. Everybody tried to convince him not to do it, but in America, in the 90s, that's all they did was programmed you to think that's what it takes to be a man. Go be a Navy SEAL. Hoorah. Hoo-yah. Who cares? I have that attitude now, but I didn't have that attitude back then. I was gung-ho. Sign me up. I took a test, aced it, got interviewed twice by 2 different people, and they were like, yep, we're going to guarantee you're going to be a Navy SEAL. All right, awesome. And they wrote Navy SEAL on my contract. I just thought, why am I bringing this up? And I said, I don't know. It's just part of the story. And then I said to myself, yeah, but it's part of every podcaster's story. Everyone's saying, oh, I'm a Navy SEAL. No, you're not. If you're a real Navy SEAL, you don't tell anybody. That's the thing, people. Real Navy SEALs, real operating people, they don't talk about it. What you're hearing now on podcasts, they're all imposters. They're all programmed people here to tell you a narrative. So try to stay neutral, stay humble, and stay observing. But anyways, back to the story. Where was I? I tried to go in the Navy. I went in the Navy. I was successful. I passed the SEAL examination. Everything was going good. And then Bill Clinton did something terrible with a woman, and everybody forgot about it. But anyways, the government shut down. And while the government shut down, we were playing water polo. And while we were playing water polo, my heart had a little hiccup, you could say. And our goalie was like a legit Navy SEAL guy doctor. And this dude pulled me I was 180 pounds. This man pulled me with one arm across the pool, and then with one arm, he lifted me out of the pool deck. Threw me onto the pool deck like a wet sausage and took my pulse. And in 15 seconds, he looked at his homie and said, "Come here." And his homie came and took my pulse. One dude's taking it on my hand, one dude's taking it on my foot. And they both look at each other, and they're like, "Come on, let's go." Or no, they asked me, "What's your name? What's your date of birth? What day is it today? Who's your commanding officer? Who's the president?" Asked me a bunch of simple questions, and I answered all of them. And they just looked at me like, "No, you got to go." So then they grabbed me, carried me out of the pool, ran me across to this medical facility, and basically threw me in an ER. And they were like, told them my blood pressure was extremely high. Like, apparently I shouldn't have even been conscious. But I was fully there, like present. And they were all in disbelief, like, what the heck's going on with this guy? Everybody thought I was on drugs. And I just said, the only drugs I'm on are the ones y'all are giving me. And that was it. I was accused of lying on my paperwork because I said I never had any heart problems. But in that moment, I'm like, yeah, I've had this my whole life. The recruiter said, just say no, it's not a big deal. And apparently it was a big deal. Anyways, long story short, my warrant officer got me out of the entire Navy by breaching my contract. And he told me to get medically checked out and come back in. And I got medically checked out. I basically told the doctor the truth, but doctors are dumb. And not all doctors, but some doctors are not that smart. They just kind of go along with the system. And this guy was going along with the system, and I told him I'm fine, and he wrote me a piece of paper that said, "Yep, I'm medically checked out," and I went back in the Navy like an idiot. And as soon as I got into that big government building, the MEPS building, I think it's called, as soon as I grabbed the door handle, oh man, I got electrocuted. I swear my hand got some type of shock. And in that moment, I heard a man's voice in my head, on the right side of my head, tell me, "Don't go." Like, it was prominent. Don't go. So I turned around, went back to the car. My parents were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I just heard a voice in my head telling me not to go. It sounded like God." And I seriously started crying like a little baby. And my mom was super happy. My dad's like, "Okay, let's go." And that was it. I never went back in the Navy. They were waiting for me, and I never returned. I never got sworn in, so I'm not AWOL or none of that craziness. So, and then as I didn't know what to do, I didn't want to live at my parents' house, so I'm sorry, I shouldn't curse. So I took a bus. I got my own apartment, studio apartment. I took a bus down to the music store, which was not close. And I bought 2 turntables and a mixer. And out of nowhere, I became a DJ. I have no idea why. I had no desire to be a DJ. I just thought it would be fun because I saw a DJ on a video or something. And I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And I remember seeing a breakdancing video when I was a kid. And I just jumped on stage and started breakdancing. And I won first place. I won $200. I went home with a check for $200. My mom thought I stole it. I had to bring my mom back to the lady who wrote me the check, and she had to explain, "No, your son won first place in a breakdancing competition." And my mom looked at me, and she's like, "I didn't know you knew how to breakdance." And I said, "Me neither." But anyways, I bought turntables, and then I went to a record. I looked, and we had a phone book back in the day. We didn't have the internet. I looked in the phone book for record stores, and I found one that was in the basement of a vacuum cleaner store. And you go in the basement, and there's this black dude in there, gayer than gay can get. And but he was funny, house music dude. And I'm like, yeah, any hip hop? He's like, yeah, right over there. But if you really want hip hop, you should come this weekend and talk to Brother Jules. And I'm like, oh, okay. Who's Brother Jules? He's like, he's got a record pool. It's hip hop. You know, he's the hip hop guy. You got to talk to him. I'm like, all right. So I went back on the weekend, met Brother Jules. Me and Jules, man, we hit it off. Turns out Brother Jules is like Prince's local DJ, like Prince, the artist. Hee hee. No, that's Michael Jackson. Hoo hoo. I guess that's Prince. He's Prince's DJ. So anyways, long story short, I became a DJ. And then because of that, it led me down the DJ path. And then once I got tired of the DJ path, I just randomly met a stranger who wanted to go to Costa Rica, and then we fell in love, and then she wanted to take me to Costa Rica, and we never made it. And then I only met her because of Trinidad. I was supposed to go to Trinidad and DJ a party, and I didn't. Later in life, I had an office job where I wasn't supposed to go through door number 1, and I did anyways, and I met a guy named Trinidad. I helped him out, and he told me I should go to this jungle in Costa Rica. This is a long story for me to talk about. Getting back to the jungle of Costa Rica. But this dude, this random stranger is like, yo, you need to go to this specific town in Costa Rica. So I did. I took my friend here on his birthday. His birthday's actually today. Happy birthday, Devin. It was his birthday, so I had a bunch of money, so I took him. I don't have a bunch of money now, and I've been broke my entire life. And this one time I have money, it's this random stranger's birthday that I met, who's just a super cool dude. We started hanging out and skateboarding and playing soccer and just doing like things that guys need to do, like just healthy hangouts. And we came to Costa Rica. I had deja vu on the beach. Crazy part is I remember the day I had the daydream that then gave me this deja vu 10 years later. And then I went to a restaurant in the little small town we were in, and there was a sticker that said Minnesota, and that's where I'm from. It's like, this day can't get any stranger. And the bartender, who was talking to Devin the whole time, he told her that I was a DJ, and she offered me a job to DJ at her bar one night a month. Pay me $100. My job just offered me a $100,000 a year gig. They're flying me all around the world, putting me up in a hotel, paying my rental car, giving me a per diem every day, and paying my salary and my overtime. So, yeah, life was finally good for me. I didn't have to rely on DJing and promoters and getting promised one thing but then only paid another at the end of the night because they didn't do their job. And it's just, a lot of dirtiness, out there in the world. And I finally had like a real respectable job that was paying me insurance, and I had dental insurance and medical insurance, and I could actually pay my bills at the end of the month and have a little bit left over to actually put in a savings account. I felt like a real adult who was a slave working 95 hours a week every single week for 2.5 years. But that work led me to save up money. And then when I came to Costa Rica, I just came here for 3 months to write a book. And I never wrote the book. And then I love the wind, because when the wind does blow, it blows the wind chime, and this wind chime is, everyone loves it when they hear it. Anyways, I hope you can hear it. Where was I? Shoot, I forgot, and I'm sitting out here in my patio, so I can't just like stop it, re-listen to it, and then punch back in. I gotta get up and move, and I ain't trying to do that. So this is real raw bedtime stories by Deluxsauce. Interesting. No, I told my boss at my super wonderful job that I'll be back in 3 months, man. I'm just gonna go write a book. And he said, okay, no worries. we're not going to pay you, but we'll give you the time off and you can come back and join us in Europe. I'm like, all right, no worries. And so I came to Costa Rica. I didn't write my book. I found a job DJing. I emailed my boss and said, hey, I need 3 more months because the DJ gig I found, then I found another DJ gig and I was making like $600 a week. And that's really good money in Costa Rica back in the day. So I was happy and I could see I could sustain myself here. And then I met a guy and he said, hey, him and his wife said to me one day at the beach, hey, if you hang on to this job you have, then maybe what life is trying to, what's actually meant for you is never going to have the space to move in because you're constantly hanging on to this thing you can fall back on. I don't think I said it correctly, but there's something like that. You know, you got to make space for new things to move in. If you're hanging on to what you think is good, what's meant for you won't come. So after 6 months of trying to write a book in Costa Rica that I started, lost, started, failed, this was just horrible experience. I hated it. I emailed my boss and said, hey man, I'm not coming back. I'm sorry. And he emailed me back and said, when you took me to lunch, I knew I was losing my best employee. Enjoy it. I hope you accomplish everything you're trying to do. And I'm excited to read the book when it's finished. And that was it. That was 13 years ago. And it was funny. Right before I quit that job, I was living in a treehouse in Miami, and a tarot card lady, there was a tarot card reader in this little village I was living in who was visiting. And this girl came up to my house and she's like, hey, Delux, you want your tarot cards read? And I looked down and I said, no. She's like, why not? I'm like, I don't believe in that stuff. Like, it's all hocus pocus. And she's like, no, I promise you, this girl is legit. She's got really classic cards. And I don't know, I forget what she said, but she hyped it up. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll do it. So then I went there, and this tarot card woman who was really old, but when I looked at her, she looked like she was in her early 30s, but she had gray hair. She looked old in some parts, but she looked very young and like goddess-like. It was interesting. Very sweet lady. She asked me my name and my birthday. I watched her shuffle the cards. I watched a few cards jump out. And then she flipped them over. And she said, card number 1, is this about you? And card number 2, is that about you? Card number 3, is this about you? And blah, 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 blah. Wait a minute. And then she paused and she rewound herself. And then she's like, no, this isn't about you at all. This is about someone really close to you. This is about, and then she described my situation with another human being perfectly. She described this other human being to the T. And I thought, there's no way you know this or that person. How did you do that? So then excuse the monkeys. She shuffled all the cards back up and she's like, what do you want to know? And I said, well, what do I do about what you just said there? And she repeated my name and my birthday again, and I watched 5 cards kind of jump out of the deck randomly at certain times, and she flipped them over, and she just goes, nothing. Picked up all the cards. And I looked at her like, what? That's it? Nothing? There's nothing I can do? She says, nope, what's done is done. And I didn't want that answer. I wanted her to go into detail about maybe something I could try to fix, because that's the kind of person I am. We're dudes. We want to fix things. We want to help. And I want to rectify this situation I was in with this other human being. And she was just like, nope, there's nothing you can do. What's done is done. You got to accept it. And I didn't want to move on and hear this person's telling me I have to. And then she goes, what else do you want to know? And I looked at her without any idea of what to ask her. And randomly I said, Costa Rica. Is it a far-fetched dream of mine or is it actual reality? Because in reality, going to Costa Rica was never my dream. Like I said, I met some random girl on the way to Trinidad, and I never made it to Trinidad. I met a random girl, and then next thing I know, she picked me up, moved me away from my life, and then broke my heart. There's a book written about it called Paws To Prophecies. It is amazing, people are saying. You can judge for yourself. Go check it out. Oh, there I go, losing my train of thought again, because looking at the monkeys, hearing the chainsaw, and this talking about rain, this is hard to go on and babble on about a story this long. I have taken no breaks, just so you know. There's no edits, no cuts. This is just Deluxsauce telling you something while I look at monkeys in the tree. I asked for Costa Rica. Is it a far-fetched dream of mine, or is it like real reality? And this woman says my name, says my birthday, and flips over a card. Keeps saying that. A card jumps out of the deck, flips it over. Another card jumps out. She flips it over, and she got a little interesting. And then the next card jumps out. She flips that one over a little slower. And she was kind of like, huh. And then I'm watching her move the deck, and the next card jumps out of its deck. I don't know how she was doing that. And then she flips that one over, and she has this feeling and this energy about her, this look on her face. And she looks at me and she goes, "Are you ready for this?" And I go, "Ready for what?" She goes, "Basically what I just did is randomly, you could say, picked out Jack, Queen, King, Ace, all of hearts, like a royal flush, basically, or something like that. The best poker hand you could pull out, she just pulled it out. And she goes, "Yes." Points at the first card and she goes, "Yes, Costa Rica's for you. It's in your destiny. It's in your plan. It's happening." And mind you, I just got a $100,000 a year job. My job is taking such good care of me. It was the worst job. It went from the worst job to the best job. That's another story, though. But anyways, hi, monkeys. Card number 2, she's like, "Yeah, Costa Rica's for you, but you're going to be distracted, heavily distracted. So you got to stay focused on what you intend to do there." And what I intended to do here was write a book, remember. So then she gets card number 3. She goes, "Card number 3, you're going to lose everything twice." And I had just lost everything. I had just lost my 2 dogs, my car, my house, my girlfriend. I was a DJ for 20 years. I lost all my turntables, my vinyl, everything. I didn't make any money. I lost everything. I lost, it was terrible, 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 terrible. And I lost it all within 30 days. It's a pretty big life upheaval movement. I don't know the words for that. Sorry, I'm illiterate in moments. But anyways, card number 3. Yeah, you're gonna lose everything twice. But she pointed out something on the card and she goes, "But look, you still have 1 cup left, so don't worry." And it's enough to get you to the next level. And the next card is, yes, if you do what you intend to do, you're going to end up manifesting everything you want. Everything's going to happen for you. And then the last and final card, she goes, "And your queen is going to show up. And you two together are going to be able to manifest and bring forth everything you see." And she was very determined in her words. And I never forgot that day. So to bring it back full circle to this story that I'm telling you, and the reason why people are telling me that I should do these bedtime stories is because I'm a good storyteller. But in reality, I'm just a risk taker. And because I take risks, I come away from it with wonderful stories. I could tell you so many wonderful stories about my boss who I took to lunch that day. I could tell you so many stories about the job that I had when I hated it and the same job I had when I loved it. it's life is about, I think, just being present. And to be a good storyteller is just the more present you are, the more you remember these wonderful details. And hopefully we can string them all together into something beautiful. And if not, I'll tell you one thing. I have the most beautiful, I'm not trying to brag, but I have a beautiful life. I don't know what happened, what I did, but it's been, I'll tell you this. I moved to this random beach in Costa Rica, like I said. I'm not going to tell you where. But there's been days where I've been sitting at my house playing the ukulele, and I'm like, screw it. Let me go to the beach and play at the beach. So I'd walk down to the beach, and I'd go and sit at the beach somewhere and play the ukulele. And I went one day, and just long story short, I've lived here for 13 years, and I have saved 14, 15, 16, I have no idea, but I've definitely saved more people's lives than the years I've lived here. And when I say saved people's lives, I mean pulled them out of the water and saved their life. Since I've lived here, I've seen 1, 2, 3 people die. One of them, my neighbor, who hit his head on a rock and died instantly. Another one held underwater and drowned. There's been several drownings. There's lots of drownings. Just the other day, some man got swept away here and they were looking for his body. So you hear this wild world around me. The world is wild. But when you take wild risks and go live and experience this wild world we live in, you realize it's not so wild at all. It's just your interpretation of it. And when you stop back and actually look at it and see it, I really believe it begins to talk to you, talks to us. I don't know who we are, who I am, who you are, but there is a stronger connection to the world outside and us than we realize. And I think we don't realize it because we're too busy working. We're too busy doing a bunch of things. I got fortunate where when I got to Costa Rica, I met a man who has a house here. It's a really small, dilapidated house. And he allowed me to live in it as long as I took care of it and managed and took care of his property. So we did a gentleman's agreement. We looked each other in the eye. We shook each other's hands. He said, please don't steal my property from me. I said, I won't. I said, I'll offer you a really cheap price one day, but I'll never not pay you the rent, sir. And we've had that gentleman's agreement handshake for 13 years. And I've been blessed to have this situation. So without that situation, I don't know if I would have been able to pull this off successfully. But without taking a risk, I never would have known that this situation could even exist. Because in my mind, sitting in my office back at my job, no way in the world would I ever think I would be sitting here holding a microphone telling people, just go and take that risk. Okay, it doesn't work out. Who cares? You know how many times I've taken risks and it didn't work out? Even the monkey agrees. So anyways, I don't know how this is a bedtime story. I don't know if I used my deep, sultry, sexy voice like I'm supposed to. But this is real. This is reality. This is no AI. This is no fakeness. This is a real human being on a microphone with no intent. I do have an intent. I lied. I didn't lie. I just misled myself in my own story. But I'll tell you the truth. My intent in all this is just to advertise that I am a storyteller. People have told me my whole life that I'm a really good storyteller. I used to lie to my parents and they always would catch me. And then there was a time when they could no longer catch me. My stories got so good. And I was failing high school English, and my English teacher said, if you just apply yourself, you can do great things. And I applied myself, and I did something great. I passed high school when I wasn't gonna. So take risks. You never know where they're gonna take you. Love, respect the life around you, the people around you. If you don't like it, just move on. We don't have to always let everybody know. Hope you're snuggled in and asleep by now. If not, these are Bedtime Stories by Deluxsauce. Good night.